And recording is started. All right, so where we left off with Gruk and Tom was they had been abruptly ripped out of their inn room and had been shackled by members of the Stone Guard, led by Eared Blackskull. You guys had been captured and started being marched out of the inn from which Bird had the entire inn, kind of the inner sanctum, had been trashed. It had been overthrown, plates broken, chairs, tables overturned. Things were a mess. It seems like that there was a rather large kerfuffle that ended up happening, or rather just sending a message kind of vibe. You guys aren't able to really make sense of it. You just know that everything is kind of torn asunder in here. As you guys are being marched out, you guys were paraded out, and there was a crowd outside of Bird's Inn that had been kind of seeing this spectacle go on. You guys were being marched slowly towards the south side of Gracklestug, and as you started making your way over, you guys had been communicating back and forth between messaging. Is there any further messaging that you would like to have sent before you are fully brought amongst here and delivered to your destination?
Nah. Wait. Yes, I want to talk to Dawnbringer.
Okay. You try and kind of, yes, telepathically. You try thinking yourself to try and message Dawnbringer. You had previously tucked him into your waistband and had asked him to kind of sheath himself to make sure his blade is not poking out anywhere. As you give his call out to his handle, you feel a little bit of warmth on the back of your spine on your lower back as you kind of realize that in order for Dawnbringer to kind of have a little bit of a speaking voice, a little bit of him has to be poking out. So you get like a little bit of a warm tingly on your backside. Hello? Oh, we must be speaking in tongues.
Hi, Dawnbringer. Just so you know, I'm currently getting arrested for shit I didn't do. So,
being arrested for shit you didn't do? I'm quite confused. We've done quite a lot. Also, if we're speaking in our minds, do we have to whisper?
No, but it's thematic.
You're right, it is quite thematic. Exactly what adventure would do.
Yeah. So, you're really cool, and I like you, and I will not willingly part with you. I obviously have
willingly part with me? Are we being separated?
I hope not. I tried to hide you. They haven't noticed you yet, but there is a possibility that we could get patted down, and if they find you and they don't just think of you as a random sword hilt, if they find me, then
I shall bring out my blade and I will stab thy foe.
You know, I admire the spirit. I would say that
the spirit inside me is that of a great adventurer. I shall not be kept unharmed.
Yep. So, as you know, even the greatest of paladins, you should have courage, but caution is necessary, right? So I don't doubt any of your abilities of bravery to try and smite down evil. I do want to make sure that we have the best possible chance of succeeding, and that isn't always the first chance.
Fair enough. Do you need me to keep an eye out, or rather ear out for anything going on? I mean,
if
should we be separated? I mean, I'm not entirely sure where I may go.
Should we be separated, I will do my absolute best to reconnect with you. I will try my absolute best to prevent that from happening, but there may be some things that happen outside of my control. I'm just saying that is a possibility.
Should I go back to myself in a bubble for another 1,000 years, then so be it. I will be ready for it. My time with you has been spent well, I believe.
Aw, mental image of a heart.
Well, I've stabbed it plenty. I'm not sure why you're giving me.
Mental image of the fucking commercialized Valentine's heart as opposed to normal human heart.
Ah, yes, reminds me of that of a woman's backside.
Is that actually how it started, Dawnbringer?
I mean, I am several thousand years old.
How many bent over female butts would you say you've looked at, Dawnbringer?
I've probably stabbed more of male than female, but you know, neither here nor there.
I hope that that's only because of like your own personal experiences and not out of any
Chivalry of that
sexist
of
desire.
many those that have held me.
That sounds like sexism to only stab men more than women.
You know what? You can be the first to plunge me into that of a woman in many years. How about that?
Well, when you phrase it like that, we'll see what happens. The day is young.
See, it looks like there's a bit of a jostling over that we got going on here. I mean, it's kind of rather hard to understand some of these dwarves.
And if that's the case, then I would say let's do the best that we can to make you as unnoticeable to the Grey Dwarves or anybody that would.
Understood.
Yes, inconspicuous. Yeah.
Oh, so, all right, I will sheath myself. Over and out.
All right, bye, buddy.
And you no longer feel a little bit of warmth on your backside as you recognize that Dawnbringer hath sheathed himself.
So can he like become like the fucking box cutters that have the safety thing on them now, where you actually have to hold it out and then you get like the tiniest little like 0.1 inches
that would be the equivalent.
Okay. So should I use him to open the boxes? Like, hey, Dawnbringer, come here.
You can. That's entirely up to you. Gruk, since you were at the forefront of this line as you're being kind of pushed along, or not being pushed along, you're being kind of hoisted along as you were being grabbed by both of your forearms and both of your legs, and you're kind of being held horizontal to the ground. As you're being brought through the town of Gracklestug, you recognize that you are being slowly brought to kind of that large foreboding structure between two lava columns that you had seen previous that Nevira kind of described to you all about this rather large structure and this very extreme place. As you're being brought there, you recognize that the crowd that you had seen before outside of Birds is no longer there. There's no crowds trying to gather around you. It seems like that this is more of a commonplace from being dragged by Stone Guard soldiers and mercs from the Grey Dwarves being brought this direction. No one seems to really bat an eye that the kind of business being done here is that of those that need to know rather than those that need to gawk and take a look. As you're being brought, you can kind of hear that the dwarves are kind of talking amongst themselves. They're kind of having some jovial thoughts. They're laughing with each other. They're kind of bouncing you around. They're not necessarily treating you bad, but they're not exactly being the kindest of making sure that you are comfortable being held. The same goes for you, Tom, as you're being brought. You're being kind of grabbed by both of underneath your armpits. So you just feel kind of like this pain on your arms being held. And Gruk, you're just kind of just being dragged, like not dragged, but being hoisted and all just kind of without control. As you guys are being brought, you recognize that being further and further out from the kind of more livelihood of the bazaar and from where Birds Inn is at, is that this area starts to get a lot quieter. Things get a lot darker, more grim. That the sounds of forges being back this far slowly start to fade away. That this appears to be more of like almost desolate to you guys. That there's not as much life back here. Is there anything you guys would like to do?
Are we just on a road right now, or are we approaching something?
Essentially being carried through the streets of Gracklestug, being carried between buildings as Gruk, you are able to see that you are being guided a certain direction towards a hold. Tom, you're able to see some of these things as well, just not necessarily the full direction as Gruk can, being in the front of this line.
I want to send a message to Gruk. Just point at him with a finger and be like, hey, can you see anything? Do we know where we're going?
Looks like we're going to a hold of some sort.
Okay. You see
I believe for message you only get one message.
I know, I'm doing it again.
Okay.
And
again.
I can imagine Tom just being hoisted up like this and just...
Yeah, finger guns. I can also do it with my toe. It doesn't say that. Oh, wait, it did say point a finger.
Yeah. Or sorry, your hands are behind you. I'm sorry. So it'd be behind you, like...
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
You just...
Also, I could theoretically like point it through me.
Yeah.
I don't know if that would then talk to my liver or something.
You talk to yourself.
Hey, liver, how you doing? Oh, just regenerating.
Yeah, we get 2 of those. It's fine. Okay, so
2 livers? You get 2 kidneys, you fucking moron.
that was an old My Name Is Earl joke where they were talking about livers, and they were like, "Yeah, but like drinking fucks up your liver," and they're like, "Yeah, but you get 2 of those. You'll be all right."
Okay.
All right, so I'm doing it again and basically saying, like, how many people do we have carrying around us right now? You think we could take them?
Gruk. Do you need a recount of what's around you?
What do you mean? What do you mean? Take them?
Like take them in a fight with our hands bound with no weapons.
I would have to say we are at a major disadvantage.
Probably valid. Okay. Thanks.
So you guys have that like mini conversation as you start being marched forward. Gruk, what you see ahead of you after a couple minutes, maybe like an hour to you, you're not entirely sure the kind of time that's been spent as being just looking at the ground. Things kind of move a little fast since you're almost nose to the ground with the height of the dwarves. And you look up again and you recognize that you are now essentially at the bottom of this hold. You see in front of you that there is a kind of a grand staircase kind of a thing going on. There is kind of 2 stairways coming up together to a landing, and then another set of stairs going up towards this kind of giant hole in the wall of a door that you can see through, and then, or not see through necessarily, but you can see that there's a doorway, an archway there. Additionally, on the opposite sides of this main staircase coming up, there are these 2 lava waterfalls coming down, and you see this kind of heat emanating off of them, and you can feel it start to bake yourselves. So you can start to smell this kind of like sulfur, this rotten egg smell as you get closer to it, this kind of basalt smell. It is awful to you guys on first smell, so a lot of things here are just wretched to you. The smelling of here is almost unbearable, and the heat is also unbearable. If you guys have any metal on you, due to the uncomfortable nature where you're at for being here, you guys are going to be very uncomfortable wearing anything that is rather heat conductive.
I want to turn to one of the guards, just kind of look at the guards holding me and just be like, wow, this is really pretty. This looks really cool.
As you kind of say that, he just kind of looks up and you just hear him kind of gives like a very aggressive nod and kind of snorts through his nose, that he's like recognizing that, yes, this is very nice. This is very prominent, and that you having that opinion is great, but he's not going to give you any satisfaction.
That's okay. You guys should be proud. Like, this looks really neat. Even though I'm getting arrested by you guys, I like that I was able to see this and see the things that the dwarves can create.
As you say that, you guys start being carried up these stairs. Coming up to them, you can see. Can both of you roll perception for me? So you guys are being carried up one
18.
flight of these standings so far in 18. Okay, Gruk?
Yeah, I can do sit perception.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, I had to
16.
cough and I had to mute myself. You got a 6?
16.
16. Okay. Based on those, as you guys start being carried up, you recognize that coming up to here, the stone structure between these 2 lava waterfalls, you can see that there's a glow that's kind of emanating from here, and you can see the outlines of like what would normally be like grout lines in brick. You can see this glow coming from inside of these bricks.
See, the waterfall at the beginning of the campaign told us this.
There was a waterfall at the beginning of the campaign.
The very
when
session
we were
one.
walking along the ledge, and we kept trying to see what was behind it, and Caleb just kept saying, "Hey, you're gonna slip on these rocks."
All I remember is that the waterfall was very wet.
Yeah,
I remember nothing else.
The rocks are very wet.
The rocks are very wet.
Yeah.
But no, being here between these 2 lava waterfalls, you see. So these lava waterfalls, I should clarify, is that they're essentially like these. They're essentially like lava columns coming down from the ceiling. Looking up, you can't see how far they go up as they kind of disappear into this black smoke cloud. So everything up there is just covered in this rather dark soot. It is again, it's hot, it's fiery, and it's very warm to you guys. It's unnaturally warm. You guys aren't very used to this kind of nature. when you're taking a look at this hold, you see these bricks, and so these are dark black bricks, but then in between them, like where grout lines would be, you see that there's this warm yellow that's kind of glowing through them. Additionally, with that, on the 18 for Tom, you can see that there are these footholds that exist climbing up this kind of climbing up this wall. With an 18, yeah.
So where is this wall? The wall that we're looking at?
So there's going to be 2 stairs coming up, and actually here. So in the in the chat there is stairs for kind of how this is shown. And I can.
What the fuck is that? What are these like? Were you outside just like, let me go ahead and just draw some things?
No, don't worry about it. God, Discord takes way too long when trying to do this. So specifically, this is kind of what you're looking at. Those orange rectangles are the kind of lava falls, and the arrows are pointing in the direction which the stairs go. So those 2 side stairs, ascending.
Okay.
So you guys would be at the bottom, and you're being carried up the stairs to ascending. There's a square in the middle that's going to be a landing that kind of has those 2 stairs meet on a platform. From that, there is another set of stairs that then extends to continue going further up. So you're climbing pretty high up on these stairs. On an 18, I'm going to say that you guys don't necessarily know like how high up these stairs are going to go, but you are very aware that you're like climbing. The guards are at least while carrying you. As you're
climbing, as in, sorry, did you just say climbing?
Climbing as in, it is really high. It's steep.
Oh, okay.
Is what I mean by climbing.
So climbing is in we are ascending very high into the air, as opposed to they're not having to like fucking rock climb up these walls.
Correct. So like,
Okay.
So climbing is like having a very like low incline stair would be like going up a ramp, versus this is like a very high incline. So climbing up the stairs.
Yeah. Okay, so that have yellow fire-y stuff.
Yes.
In grout lines.
And then additionally, the kind of lava falls that you see are these lava pillars. You see that there are no rails on the sides of these stairs, so nothing would stop anything from being knocked off these stairs and falling down into what you recognize is kind of lava pools where the bottom of these kind of lava falls meet. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Question not as Tom Bardy, but as myself. Hey, hey Narwhal, what's your constitution like? Is it a lot?
It's a good amount, yeah.
You think you could beat a Constitution 13 save? And separately, do you want me to do something stupid?
Do you need me to pause so you can talk about something super quick?
I want his response first, and then, well, actually, yeah, sure, why not?
Okay, I'll pause real quick so we kind of talk about what you plan on doing before getting into the whole thing. Okay, and we're back. So that plan.
I'm gonna not be stupid, but it'd be funny.
So just so you guys get that idea, so you guys fully understand kind of what the situation is you're walking up into. This almost like hellscape-ish kind of manor, or not manor, this hole you're walking up into, there's lava falls, stairs going up, this kind of glow that exists inside the walls almost coming out. You guys kind of get that picture?
Mm-hmm. Sounds like that's going to be really relevant.
I don't know. So as you guys start getting carried up, you guys, do you have any more messaging between each other before you reach the final summit of the stairs?
Nah, unless Gruk wants to like wiggle his big toe and indicate that he wants me to give him the option to say something.
I did not wiggle my big toe.
Okay. As you guys are brought to the summit of these stairs, you guys cross the threshold into a rather cool and great feeling hall. In this hall, the floors are made of kind of this dark obsidian, almost like a black marble kind of feature that goes on in here. Gruk, what you see in front of you is that this hall is essentially empty aside from these kind of black columns that stretch the length of this entire hall. You see that it goes deeper into this wall than you could have probably imagined from the outside. This feature in here, there's nothing that exists. It is the ground and these columns. You don't see anything out of the ordinary from being inside of here, but this looks to be a place of great wealth and almost like a show-offish kind of a hall. Tom, you see these things as well.
I forgot. I missed the comment about columns. Are there just big columns that are
just
also made of
big
obsidian?
black rock columns that kind of go from floor to ceiling. There doesn't appear to be anything spectacular about them. They are jagged. They are almost like they are the original stone that would have existed in this wall, but mined away to be these support columns in this hall. And again, it extends further forward rather than sideways than you can possibly could have imagined from the outside looking in.
So my character knows this, but I forgot. Does Gruk have dark vision?
Gruk has dark vision.
Cool, I don't.
There is enough light in here that you can see these kinds of things, but again, it extends further than what you can imagine. Once you were carried into here, you see that Eared Blackskull is kind of she's standing, waiting at arms, and she has her arms behind her back, and she turns around to you both, and then starts barking orders at the guards that are holding you guys. At that call, there are two doors that open to your left and to your right, further down than what you guys could have originally seen. It's almost like these walls moved themselves to be doors. So with that, you see that these halls extend further left and right than you also had seen originally, that these doors that once before were perfectly flush inside of this rock now expose that there is more to this room than you had seen before. On your right, you guys start to see that there are more gray dwarves that come out, same kind of armored clad that is currently holding you, stone guard dwarves. At the end of that, you see that there is about 15, 20 of them that start to march out, and followed by them is Gardecar. Gardecar begins to start making his way towards you guys, and then stands in a circle surrounded by the other Stone Guard members, and he calls out for them in Dwarvish. He barks an order, and the circle around him splits to become a U, so he is now surrounded by a U of these guards, and looks at you guys, and looks directly at Tom, and kind of gives you a very defeated look. Like something across his face washes over, he's like, ah, fuck.
Gardecar's the captain of the Keepers of the Flame, right?
He is the member. I don't believe I labeled him as captain.
Yeah, I don't know if he's captain. He's a member of the Keepers of the Flame. He's the one that we talk to the most, right?
Correct. Correct. Member to Keepers of the Flame. So he recognizes you, and you recognize him.
What's up, Gardecar?
You can see that his face just kind of gets very shocked and surprised at you immediately calling out, and the other guards kind of like pause and take a look at him. So all eyes then immediately turn to him, and then just kind of give him a very questioning, and he barks something at the other dwarves, to which you're not able to understand, and they immediately look again forward and then appear to kind of fall back into the lines like nothing had happened.
Okay. Well, actually,
that was wise to call his name out like that.
Probably not. I wanna flick a message at him.
I'm about to say real quick. So Tom, did you think, or sorry, not Tom, Gruk, did you think that, or did you just say that?
Am I like near Tom at all?
You guys are still kind of in your line. So essentially you were like not butt to butt or anything like that. Gruk, you're still being kind of carried vertical to the floor, or horizontal to the floor. Tom, you're being carried vertical to the floor with your armpits kind of, that's where they're grabbing you, is by your armpits, because you're about the same like size as them, as the Grey Dwarves.
I
thought I was next to Tom.
No.
I figured Gruk would have just, even whether he was saying it to me or not, could have just muttered under his breath.
Yeah,
well,
just
that's what I'm
muttered
asking,
under
is that
my
if you did or
breath.
not. You muttered under your breath?
Yeah, I'll just deferred it down that way then.
Okay. So real quick, I have to roll. So repeat back what you said.
I don't think it was smart to utter his name like that.
At you saying that, you can give me a, I believe it would be stealth if you're trying to say it under your breath right now.
Would it be? Okay, I don't know if it would be like deception or
Deception,
whatever.
stealth, you can pick either.
I bet you have a real high performance skill, Gruk.
Deception would be, hey, I'm saying something, but it's not what I actually mean.
But you're lying. So stealth
okay.
under your breath. You're going to have to beat a 17.
That's a 23.
Never mind. Okay,
Nice.
what the fuck? Cool.
I got a +4 and I rolled a 19.
How the hell do you have a +4 to Dex?
Because I have a +2 to Dex and my
To Dex?
proficiency is +2.
You mean stealth?
Yeah. Well,
No, to
yeah,
Dex, I have a +2 modifier.
Yeah.
And my proficiency is +2.
I guess you're a fighter, not a barbarian, so it's not just hit it with a big stick until it dies.
Yeah.
It's stab it with a big sword until it dies.
There's more to it than just hitting people, damn it.
I know, sometimes you have to stab them too.
Okay, so you say that, and thankfully no one was able to hear you say anything like that, but you see that there is clearly some kind of tension that now exists from Gardecar and the other stone guards that exist around him. At that, Ear to Blackskull beckons for Gardecar to kind of come to her. They kind of have a small conversation in Dwarvish. You see that there's kind of a weird tension that existed just from the sight of Tom already from Gardecar, but more kind of begins to wash over Gardecar's face as Ear to Blackskull begins to speak. At the end of their little speech, you see that the stone guards that had arrived with Gardecar from the right turn and start to march their way back to the door which they came. Gardecar is now alone with you guys, with the Grey Doors holding you and Ear to Blackskull in this hall.
How do I spell Eared?
Eared is E-R-R-D-E.
What a stupid way to spell Eared. The more I learn about this person, the more I don't like her.
Eared.
Yeah, I figured there should be a Y in there somewhere.
No.
What's the fucking like Boondocks equivalent of the Underdark? I feel like that's where she's from. If it's like Erd, my name's Erd. That's how it's spelled.
I don't know. Probably Sloobadop would be the Boondocks.
Probably. They're all just there in the middle of a lake somewhere, and they're just living on like.
It's pretty Louisianan.
Yeah. Okay. Anyhow.
So, as those guards leave, Gardecar and Ear to Blackskull have their conversation. They slowly start to bring it to a whisper from amongst themselves. You can see that there is something clearly going across Gardecar's face. He is very bad at kind of showing these emotions and keeping them in check. So you can see that there has been fear that's gone across him. You can see that there has been kind of disappointment that also goes across him. Finally, you see that there's a rather stoic face that kind of happens, or stone face that happens with him kind of accepting something that is being said to him. He tries replying back into Erd. Erd is almost having none of it. As quickly as Gardecar can speak, you see that there is snappish remark coming back from Ear to Blackskull, but you are unable to understand what is happening between them in their language. I know, it sucks. It's almost like you don't have someone. Once they kind of have their...
I don't need to be able to speak somebody's language to throw them into a lava waterfall.
That's fair. Once you see them kind of finish up to wrap up the conversation, Ear to Blackskull then quickly turns on her heel and then begins walking towards the left door, the opposite of which Gardecar had arrived from. The guards that you are being lifted by drop you to the floor. So you guys land... Gruk, you land with a thud right into your face. Tom, you land with a thud and kind of pushed to your knees. So you are not allowed to stand, you are pushed to your knees. Gruk, you're welcome to try and wiggle yourself up to your knees, or you can remain on the floor.
I'll just remain on the floor.
All right. Gardecar is now looking down at you guys as he begins to approach you. The stone guards slowly separate themselves so they can kind of give you guys a bit of breathing room. And Gardecar looks down on you and looks to Tom, looks to Gruk, kind of gives a questioning look to the orc, and then looks back to Tom and says, "What happened?"
Oh, is that a picture of him? He don't have no hands.
I mean, this is AI generated art for what I typed in, so I mean,
Oh, okay.
this is canon. What I mean, he showed up before looking like this.
Right. I just don't remember realizing he was he was Lieutenant Dan, but the opposite.
Yeah, Lieutenant Dan.
He's Lieutenant Hands.
Lieutenant,
yeah,
you ain't got no hands.
Can I call him Mr. Hands? And we're done. All right. So
there's no horse around here.
Mr. Hands with a deep roast or something. Anywho, he asked me what happened. Before, rather than answering him directly, I wanted to stare at him, and then I want to flick like a message at him and say, "Hey, this is Tom. Is there anything you want to tell me that nobody else can hear?"
I realize it's you, Tom. You don't have to announce that first. Second, there's been some issues that have gone on in the city, and we believe that you guys are currently fitting the descriptions, and your name has been dropped.
No, I'm not going to get rules lawyer about it.
I know, it was a couple sentences.
Yeah, I don't know if you care, but...
I'm allowing it that way. You don't have to keep saying message the entire time for at least those 3 things.
Okay, that's fair.
So you can reply back in a message, or you can reply back normal with that little bit of information.
Actually, there is no word requirement on this. It's just...
They get one reply.
An action. Yeah, and I mean, theoretically, they could just stream of consciousness an entire screed, and...
They could. That doesn't happen. Rule lawyer. So you can reply based on that, because all the guards are now looking at you as Gardecar kind of shows up and is waiting for you to answer his question of what happened.
All right, I want to flick another message at him and say, do you want the actual truth, or do you want me to say something different?
He messages, or he replies back to your message with, "If you do not speak the truth here, there will be problems when faced in court."
So what happened is, I'm saying this out loud, we were sleeping in the room. The guards kicked in the door. They did not want to listen to anything that we were saying. They put myself and my half-orc friend here, Gruk, into handcuffs and chains and carried us here. And now we are here.
He looks back and forth between Tom and Gruk he now looks at you and he asks you, "And what happened?"
Oh, now he's speaking to me?
Yes, you are Gruk.
Oh yeah, I am Gruk.
Me Gruk. Me strong.
Me Gruk. Me think. Me smart. Anyways. I was asleep and I was woken up with the barging in of dwarvish guards being put in handcuffs and then being taken here.
He kind of looks back and forth between the guards that are surrounding you guys and gives them a nod as a kind of sign of, "I've got this from here." The guards start to make their way towards opposite sides of the hall, toward the doors that had originally opened up. However, you see that they don't leave, or rather, you don't see a door open up as they disappear from sight.
Did you really have to draw like a 3D model of the way that stairs work?
For the other group, yes.
With the little X that says you are here?
Yep.
Why does it look like you were outside when you did this?
It was just a picture I was taking, and that's how the lights above me work.
Do you have a plant on your desk?
Do I have a plant in my... Hold on, let me pause real quick.
What is your...
All right, and we're back. Don't worry about the tangent.
Yeah, you guys will have to know if it was a plant or not. Let that eat at
subscribe to the Patreon.
Yeah, yeah, you get 5 extra seconds of content.
Oh, goodness. So he asks you that, Gruk, and you respond back to it. You see that he gives a nod to the Grey Dwarf, to the Grey Dwarf guards that were previously holding you, gives a nod, and they start to split off, and they go towards those opposite halls, or to the doors that you had seen previously open. You notice that as they start to make their way over there, the doors do not open, but they disappear from sight.
So they're just in the shadows.
It's up to you to kind of interpret.
All right.
When you say disappear from sight, you mean it to us? It appears as though the doors just boom. There's a wall there.
Essentially, yeah. You see that they had started walking towards where you had previously seen doors come out of the wall. This, as you had seen them start to walk away, you recognize that the doors aren't there. As when they start making their way towards that direction, you see them kind of disappear from sight. As in, one moment they are there, the next they are blink gone.
Okay, I thought you meant that the walls disappeared, not that the dwarves were disappearing.
No. The dwarves, not the doors. The doors. The doors as well. You don't see the doors anymore. They kind of they closed, so you don't see the doors anymore. They are now walls like they were before.
Cool. So it's platform 9 3/4. Got it.
Pretty much. Platform 9 3/4, except if you look at it hard enough, or you go through it hard enough, or you know some way to open the door actually becomes a physical door that you can touch.
I can't just run at it at full speed.
You can try.
Why can't we just run at it?
You can try. Break your nose. I don't care.
Okay.
But you see that the doors are no longer in sight. You are now alone in this hall, empty aside from you and Gardecar.
And me.
Well, you being the royal you.
Yeah. Sup, bro? What's going on?
We cannot talk commonly in here as you guys are being held captive to answer for some of the crimes that have been seen around this city.
Okay. Apologies, Master Dwarf. I am not sure what's occurred to cause you to arrest us, but I would like to extend my assurance that I will do the best that I can to comply with everything that's going on. And then I want to make him a message and be like, as long as, it's fair and I am severely outnumbered and won't win in a fight.
After the message, he responds back to you and says, "Look, I'm sorry." And at your normal talk of saying, like, "Sorry, Your Excellency," he strikes you across the face.
Ow.
So he strikes you across the face and starts yelling out in Dwarvish something at you that you're not fully able to understand, but you recognize that something in that is trying to tell you that he's trying to put something on. Like doing this for others, not for himself.
Yeah, I want to probably do a performance check and just be like, "No, please, I'm sorry," and just go along with it.
Okay, do a performance check.
16.
Okay, cool.
Well,
you don't
all right, we're good.
see anything happen, but you believe yourself to be a rather accomplished actor. That it seemed rather believable. He turns back to Gruk and then begins saying again, he's like, "Yes, I recognize that you two were ripped out from your slumber. However, I must say again, tell me the truth and what happened. Right now, we have found you and have been told to take you, that you match certain things that had happened around the city. And I had to be truthful that I knew someone named Tom, as that name had been dropped. Now tell me again, what has happened in this city? What have you done?"
Oh, okay. That's not what you asked before, so I misunderstood. There are a number of people that...
At your response of saying, "Oh, that's not what you said before," he has to strike you again. So you're a little bit red in the face as you had been taken 2 beatings so far to the face at your responses.
There are more than just me in a group of us, of people, of adventurers, and I have not been there for a majority of the things that have occurred, but I know that there have been some going on, and there's every possibility that they could have done some things that would have caused what you're talking about. The only one that I'm aware of is a shop that had a rather unscrupulous owner, made some bad decisions, and he ended up dying from a result of his bad decisions. Not anything that I necessarily explicitly caused. And then we left the shop, and then the next thing I know, the shop was burning down. That's the only thing I can think of. Oh, and also we saved some rock giants and helped get them back, and also we helped out Dude Bro that gave us the pins.
Gruk, Orc, can you corroborate this?
I can only it's a word that's on the tip of my tongue. Account. I can only account for the saving of the rock giants, the burning down of the shop, and the dragon stuff I was not around for. And I'll give a stern look to Tom.
Hey man, you should have been there. You could have got some cool stuff. Also, there was a shop that it wasn't really my idea. I got dragged into going into a shop when the owner was not there. That was a completely different shop than the one I just mentioned. And some of the other people that I was with took some things from that shop. I don't know. I don't remember what they took. I don't really know what they took. I just know that we were there when the shop owner was not, and some things were taken.
For the sake of you all, I really hope that what you were saying stands up and what was claimed to have been seen then. I fully believe you, as I need to, because I cannot stand being wrong in this situation. For my own reputation is on the line trying to put in something for you. I do not wish to see you. And he kind of looks away, looks down at the ground, and looks back up. He's like, I really wish things could be different right now. I'm afraid of what's going to happen for your safety. If you're telling me that there are others out there that you've been partnered with, do you know if they're on their way here? I mean, we need to make sure that I need to make sure that I can try and help take care of them. I do not wish to see them in the same way that you are.
It sounds like they're going to try and they're going to fuck it up. I have no idea. If I were in their shoes, I would probably be saying that, yeah, they're going to make an attempt. I have no idea what that would encompass, what that would do, how successful they would be. I don't know what form it would take.
Yeah.
So
honestly, without me or Tom here, they don't really have any good way of being able to bolster through a big line of defenses.
Are you talking about the King's Guards? The other dwarves you just seen here? I'm afraid none of you will stand much of a chance with that.
Not when there's 30 of them.
You can drive more
Gruk
for 300.
Oh, yeah, that's a lot. I don't know if I can take that many. So Gruk is a big meaty wall, and I'm the one that talks and blusters my way through things. So
you're going to be needing a lot of your talking with the audience of the king that you're about to have.
Okay, so what can you tell me? Actually, no, I want to make a message to him and be like, can you tell me anything? You know that I did not do the things of which I'm accused, and you know that I have assisted Thimberchild. Is there anything that you can tell me that would assist in either getting out of being arrested and thrown into a cell, or whatever consequences may occur, or once that occurs, something that would assist in escaping.
A cell is within your future no matter what goes on in here. There's nothing that I can save you from with that. Once you are sentenced, this is as far as it goes. Should you try and escape out of your sentence, I'm afraid you'll also be escaping life.
I mean, there's no information that you could give me that would be beneficial that I don't currently know.
The only thing that I can say is that you meet the descriptions of what was given to you. We have a confidant that had seen you outside, and unfortunately, once we have those set for those that match what we feel, you were going to be sentenced. There's nothing that we can do to get you out of that.
So basically, I'm going to be arrested and thrown into a cell, and it doesn't matter how this next audience with the king goes.
Depending upon how the king feels, maybe you can sway him, but things with him have been rather extraneous lately. There's been a new kind of person that's come in and has taken, how would you say, a kindling, a liking with him, and he's essentially had their ear for quite some time, and we're rather afraid of things that have been happening here. Changes that have gone on, I mean, there's been talks of many things that existing in here, especially with the recent issue with the dragon egg that had occurred.
Yeah, so like, and I guess I want to message this, but yeah, so like, what was up with that? Like, we saved it, and then he stomped it. What's going on?
Age has slowly taken over the dragon, and we're looking for a replacement, as we are afraid we're no longer able to kind of keep bounds on him. The psionics of our group here are slowly losing power over him.
Oh, I didn't realize that you guys influenced him. I thought he did all this because he wanted to.
Have you seen a willing dragon?
Yeah, but usually I figured you guys had like a, hey, if you heat up our forges and stuff, we'll make cool shit for you that you can put in the pile all day long.
That is what we have our citizens believe, that we have control over this dragon and mutual respect. However, at a moment's notice, if we lose control over him, I'm afraid this city will be under fire. And with the rate that this king is having things go on, I'm afraid we're also going to be losing much more than just the dragon.
Hey, I have a question.
Yes.
Since I wasn't there for 2 of the 3 things that he listed off that happened, i.e. being the helping the dragon with his whole egg thing, and then the burning of the shop, and then also the going into the other shop and then stealing items. Why am I here?
The only descriptions that we have to match was that of what they had given us. A rather tall creature had been traveling along with a halfling named Tom, and you were what fit. We didn't see anyone else when we raided the inn.
You know, there was, I remember this now. I had been told that some of the members of our party, one of whom is also short in stature and one of whom is also tall, had gone off on their own, and not wanting to give their own names, one of the shorter one gave my name. And
I'm afraid you don't have the best of friends then, the group that you're traveling with, especially because there's going to be more calls out there now. Once you were brought before them, maybe perhaps you can try and get out of the description for it, but otherwise at this time you were going to have to answer for the questions.
Okay. Tell me about the king. I want to know what he's like.
Right now, I can tell you once we bring you down into your cells, as I'm afraid I've exhausted as much time as I can have you personally. There was only so much time I could have with you all outside of eared hearing us.
You can't just claim that you're just beating the shit out of me for funsies.
If you'd like, but again, I must bring you down to your cells. For I do not know when she's going to return, but it is going to be soon. I can maybe answer one more question of you.
You can't just like slap us another 2 or 3 times and buy us like another 5-10 minutes maybe?
I'm afraid not with the amount of eyes that we have here. And that will be your last question. We must go.
I had a feeling that was about to happen.
All right.
It's okay. All right.
So at that, Gardecar is going to slowly back away from you as you guys see that out of nowhere from the kind of walls that had existed and where the dwarves had disappeared, they blink back into existence, and the dwarves start making their way towards you. Eared Blackskull, you see a door open from that left-hand side. After the dwarves started making their way towards you, see Eared Blackskull start making her way in, and then she converses with Gardecar, kind of in solace, that they kind of step away, have their own little mini sidebar conversation as you guys get hoisted back up by the Grey Dwarves. The Grey Dwarves at that time hoist you and start walking you down further into the hall. So you can see that you guys are being brought in and going further into here. The kind of light that existed from outside of this tunnel, or outside of the kind of that hold entrance, slowly starts to go dark. Tom, you see that this kind of blackness, you can see that there's still of a shine on the floor, so you can still see reflections quite easily on this floor. It is rather glossy. Again, it is rather pristine, it's rather fine. It looks rather extravagant. Gruk, with your sight, you can see that you are being walked down in just more empty hall that was once previously the very beginning, looked to be rather extravagant and rather of great stature, is almost too long. That with everything that just kind of continues on down here, that is almost like a little too show-offish, that this is kind of outside of the functionality that had existed in the city itself, function over form. That inside here, it looks like form has taken over. Once you guys eventually reach a undetermined amount of columns going through here, you are abruptly turned and then brought towards one of the walls. Then you see that there's kind of a shimmer around the rock, and the rock starts to move to open up into a hallway. A door opens up through the rock wall, and you guys are brought down into a more cavernous hallway. The floor here is made of that same black stone. The walls are of that same black stone. Nothing in here is about form anymore. Everything in here is almost jaded, or not jaded, jagged and rough. As you're being brought in, you guys are being tailed by Gardecar. Eared Blackskull is not tailing you. As you guys be brought in, you guys can see that this light at the end of this kind of like stone tunnel. And this stone tunnel slowly turns into kind of like stairways going down. You can feel that going deeper into here, that the earth in here, or the stone in here, is both hot and cold at the same time. It's a very strange mixture from being hot from the outside to being rather cool inside here, but you can still feel that the air is warm, that something in here is still like very hot with some kind of heat. Being brought down, you guys eventually start to see that there are cells that are lining this hallway as you go through. Peering through some of the cells, you see that there are some kind of bodies or some figures that may exist towards the back of their cells, but they don't appear to be coming up to the cells to kind of show themselves. Do you guys want to do anything?
Is there any light in here? Or can I just
there's like torch lights, and actually let me go ahead and change the background.
Finally, God.
Oh, I'm
Dude,
sorry.
It's like a fucking anime dating game where
Goddamn,
they made like 6 backgrounds.
I forgot to show this for when you're walking up to the hold. I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
This is
what are the floaty rocks for?
Don't worry about those.
Okay.
So this was the kind of hold you guys were supposed to kind of have more envisioned towards the top kind of a thing, but don't worry about that. You guys aren't there. But you guys are kind of being brought into your kind of rock area. So this is the kind of area that you're looking at where there's rough rock walls, rough rock ceilings, and there are kind of these blue torch lights, blue candles that exist in here. So it's potentially why you guys are feeling like maybe there's a bit of coldness to it, that the light is cool rather than the kind of warm orange light that it existed outside. But something in your brain is kind of like tricking you, it feels like, with that.
Can I do I don't know what it would be. Can I do a check? I wanted to check on like the shit that we're seeing in the cells, like the things that we're seeing, to see if we can know what they are.
You can recognize that there are kind of figures, shadows, if that makes like there are shadow. How the fuck do I say, like, they're not humanoid, but they are figureoid.
Like bipedal?
You don't know enough about that. You just know that there are like hulking shadows that exist that are kind of like more hunkered towards the back of these cells, that nothing that as you're walking by appears to be coming to the front of their cells, and are whatever's in there appears to be like hiding further into the shadows.
I want to bink a message to Gardecar and ask him what's in the cells and why they're hiding.
Let me jump back into. Well, now he's like a really weird square. You messaged him asking what's going on with some of these cells. He just responds back with these are some of the less favorable ones that we are keeping for questioning. They are all set to be kind of brought before the king and have their crimes answered for what we believe to be their crimes.
Yeah, but like, what are they?
Some of them are other Grey Dwarves like us, and some of them are some unfortunate travelers that had come through. Much like yourselves.
Have there been... okay.
For the Grey Dwarves that exist down here, they're going to be held to a bit of a different, higher standard than the rather normal adventurers such as yourselves. You guys will only have an audience in front of the king. However, due to the nature of your crimes, you guys are going to be granted the similar audience with members of other councils and lairds.
Lairds. Funny word.
Well then, yeah. We'll get most of that taken care of on Monday, and then I can...
I'll pause for the minute. Does that satisfy your question, Tom?
Sure. Why do I feel like there's something more going on with these torches than what it lets on?
We want to make sure that those being brought down here are left rather calm and serene. We don't want them worrying themselves and thinking themselves to death.
Okay.
As you start getting brought through, you guys kind of feel that you're coming to an end of this hallway, and a iron door opens up seemingly without any action or without any figure opening it. You hear this of the iron door opening. As the iron door opens, Gruk, you are brought into your own cell. You are dropped rather gently from what you were previously into here, and you don't see anyone close the iron door on you as the Grey Dwarfs start to walk out. The iron door itself closes on you. Tom, you see that happen to Gruk as he's brought into a room by himself, and you are on the opposite side of him, and another iron door, and you are dropped into a cell opposite of Gruk. As you are brought in, you guys can feel that the shackles kind of have a heavier weight to them inside of here. As the door closes, you can feel that the stone shackles kind of lose that bit of kind of connection that you had previously felt outside of these rooms.
Can they come apart?
Yes. As you kind of get your arms out, again, you guys see that the iron doors close seemingly without any action. Gardecar is now standing between the two cell doors and is looking back and forth between you two and is lit up by the kind of bluish flame and kind of has a very solemn look. You can see that there are kind of shadows that are dancing across his face from the light, and something across him is rather pensive, that he's rather afraid potentially about what might be happening next. He's giving you as much as he can, but you can see that something is still across his face that he's worried about.
You look really worried there. Is there something that we should know?
Well, first I fear for both of you. And that in recent, again, the king has rather been not the most favorable and the most responsive to hearing anything that is against those that are like us, saying that we are liars. You're going to be rather up against an uphill battle. For your sake, and my own even, me sticking out my own neck trying to give you guys as much time to help answer some of these questions before you have to come in front of a king, I will try my darned to give some of the information to the other lairds around here to try and describe exactly what you had told me to kind of help clear your name. But I'm not very secure in that.
Okay, so the taller one There are multiple members of our group. The taller one is a tiefling. The tiefling was the one that burned down the shop. The tiefling was the one that, I feel like the tiefling is behind a lot of the things that have occurred. This is a male tiefling, and he is pretty well spoken. He can kind of hold his own. I believe he is good at singing and persuading, the type of bard archetype. So I'm wondering, I know that tieflings can get a lot of notice when they're just walking around things that are not them. So I would say that may be a good lead to follow up on.
That'd be a good lead to follow up on.
Yeah.
This male tiefling that you had been speaking about, is there anything else you can give me? A name, even more description about this character? I mean, is this someone that you had been traveling with? I mean, from our information, we do not have anything regarding a male aside from, well, I'm sorry, Gruk, but you.
The tiefling's name is Thak. He is. We arrived in Gracklestug together, and then he split off from us. Now we have had some interactions with him, and I believe that's when these things would probably have occurred, but I don't know where he's staying. He's not staying with us. So, don't know why they kicked our door down, but...
I'm sorry, they're not staying with you.
Thak is not staying with us.
Hold on 1 second. I'm gonna pause. So you're telling me that there is another tiefling out there, this male tiefling, and okay. Okay. If I can convince, maybe. All right. What I need from you all is just be as honest as you can, just as you had with me. You aren't lying to me, are you?
No.
What do you want to hear?
I need to hear anything that can get you guys out of the guise of the king and essentially his untamed wrath. He's not a very compelling king that does these sorts of things, but something's changed.
Can I roll an insight check to see if he's actually being genuine in what he's saying?
Sure.
Hey, an insight check.
Hey, an insight
Oh.
check.
10.
10. On a 10, with his previous kind of giving away of his face, everything that's kind of going on, you feel that something is potentially going on in the background, that maybe he's not saying everything fully, but you're not entirely sure what. He is very genuine in needing to get something from you, but you don't understand why with everything he's giving you. You feel like there's something maybe more, but you don't have any inkling as to what.
All right, then I'm going to tell you something as long as you can ensure that nobody aside from you and me, and Gruk, can hear this conversation.
I cannot guarantee we will be the only voices here, but if you were to talk to me how you were previous...
Okay. All right, I'm going to send him a message and tell him there are 2 tieflings that exist in this city right now, at least. One of them is the one that I know has committed some of these crimes. One of them is the Thak that I was just speaking of that may have committed some of these crimes that were mutually exclusive. I don't give a shit about Thak, but if possible, I would like to at least save the other one from execution. So you can spin this story however you want, but I would say that if you're looking for a scapegoat, Thak would probably be a good one. And he's tall.
That
And
would fit
he's
at
a
least the one
tiefling.
description. However, that still remains of a shorter person.
There's a lot of short people here. 98% of this population is short. Could be anybody.
Fair enough, but gray dwarves don't turn on each other.
Oh, there's a lot of Darrow around too.
Fair enough.
I'm a halfling. Darrow are probably not much shorter than I am. And Darrow are known to steal and be, generally a thorn in the Grey Dwarf side. You really think people would question it?
That's true. Say, with their uprising they had a couple years ago, we did kind of put the thumb on them with that.
Right. Last time I checked, we had to get escorted with a group of like 10 of you just so that you didn't get stabbed in the kidneys on the way down.
All right, I will run with this as much as I can. All right, I can stay down here no longer, as I have a feeling that there's going to be more questions than I can have answers for why I've spent so much time with you.
Because we're besties, bro.
At that, he bangs on your iron door and then screams at you in Dwarvish, something that you feel is rather obscene, and then begins to walk away. So you guys are... Both of you roll perception.
I was just gonna say, okay.
Yeah.
Quick note. I was gonna say, man, I'm really flipping a coin here on whether or not Gardecar actually wants to help us, because if he doesn't, then he's gonna go after Cirella. And also, if they're like, oh, guess what? This wasn't you, and they let us go, theoretically, and then they go try to chase down Cirella, that's going to give all of us a better chance to escape than it would be, is the way I'm looking at it. And then when I first had the thought, I was like, oh man, I'm really flipping the coin. No, wait, I'm rolling the dice. Ha 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 ha. And then it stopped.
Shut the fuck up. But you guys...
The train of thought stops because it has just completely derailed.
The problem is, this is how I explain it, is there's 4 trains of thought that are constantly crossing tracks with each other. So like, usually that's why I can't get through a sentence, because something else will jump in the way. But now we're here. I'm gonna roll perception because Caleb nicely asked me
I
to.
need you both to roll perception. After
Sorry, I got a
Gardecar
10.
left. You got a 10.
Perception?
Perception. Because you are going to be taking a listen for things that might exist in here as you try to listen to Gardecar walking away.
Oh, that's a 9.
It's a 9. You guys don't hear anything out of the ordinary as Gardecar starts to make his way down the hall. So you guys feel that you are left alone across from each other in this hallway. Your rooms are right across from each other. You can see each other pretty cleanly from your doors.
I want to bank him a message and go, hey, something's up with these torches. I feel like there's illusion magic on the cuffs. There's something up with the torches. I confirmed it with Gardecar that it has some sort of weird PC vibey aura thing. And let's see if we can figure out what's really going on here. And then you can say something back to me if you would like.
Or we could just try to entertain ourselves while we're down here.
That's not entertaining? I think it's entertaining to figure out what weird magic is. And also, like, yeah, we're pretty much stuck, but I'm not just going to sit here with my thumb up my ass until they cut off my head.
Okay, that's true.
So
Yeah.
what would you like to do?
Is there a torch in my room?
No, just on the outside.
Oh, so I'm in the darkness of the door behind you.
Yeah, so this whole thing that I have here as a background was more so just like thematic kind of a thing. The color, I did change the color of this image to match kind of like the vibes of this thing that you're in. Everything kind of looks like that, but yeah, technically you'd be in this kind of like pitch black hole kind of a thing back here, because there's the opening door thing right there.
Can I actually reach my hand over and touch it?
The latch.
Yeah, you can, but it's not going to do nothing. Or, sorry,
I
roll
guess
for that, and then you can find out if it does anything.
Yeah, I want to roll for it and see if there's. I want to do investigation on the latch.
All right, yeah,
see
you
if
go
there's anything.
investigation on the latch.
I'm gonna do it. Yeah, all right. Let me hit it. All right, cool. I got it.
Yo, hit the
6.
stizzy.
Yeah.
All right, what'd you roll for investigation on the latch?
6.
Cool. With what you both can kind of equally see off of that 6, I'll give this information to both of you, is that these iron doors look rather simplistic. That, again, functionality over form is what you recall from this area, and everything in here is rather dingy. It almost looks like things don't have any kind of a purpose, but these doors look rather very simplistic. And with a kind of wrought iron kind of deal going on here, the latch mechanism doesn't even look like there's a lock of any visible kind, that these doors just kind of closed on their own. Inside of your guys' rooms, it is an empty kind of cavernous hole that you are in, a very small cavernous hole, just like a pocket carved out of the earth, just big enough to kind of house something or someone's to be held in these cells. There are torches that you see outside of everyone's room as you were walking by, just kind of like held by like candlestick holders kind of deal. They're not like full wooden torches. They're just kind of like candles and candle holders or candelabras, whatever you would call them. And you saw nothing else on these halls, nothing that stood out that as spectacular or interesting.
All right, I'm casting Detect Magic.
Okay. You cast Detect Magic and you feel that these candles are all kind of magically alight. There's some kind of illusion magic with these candles. You feel that there are presences that are also existing in here, multitude of presences that are also of illusion magic, but nothing visible.
So there's... Oh, I was about to say, there's probably some invisible people around here.
Yeah, sounds like it. Let me tell you the thoughts that I just had in quick succession. Cast Mage Hand to see if I can jiggle the latch on Gruk's cell, as if that's going to do anything. Cast Mage Hand and poke Gruk in the side of the head with it. Send Gruk a message and tell him we should check behind one of the lava waterfalls to see if there's anything there. Use Thunder Wave to just bowling pin all the people that might be in the room with me. And then it was cast Fairy Fire and somehow not put myself in the thing, which probably wouldn't work. And then it was cast Mage Hand and play Rock, Paper, Scissors with myself. And then I got spun off into a thought of, if I'm controlling the Mage Hand, is it have enough autonomy to actually play Rock, Paper, Scissors, or would I just always be winning? Like, would I have to tell the Mage Hand to pick scissors?
That is a lot.
Yeah. Well, and that all happened in the span of like 20 seconds. Like, that's normal for me.
I think you have to like subconsciously choose something with your like actual hand, and then consciously concentrate on the action of the Mage Hand to try to, I guess, lose against yourself.
Yeah, it says you can use your action to control the hand. I don't know if there's... there's a semantic component, but I don't know if that's just to cast it, or if there's actually... I have to wiggle my fingers to make it do anything. I think you can just mentally manipulate it.
Say the semantic for like your Mage Hand would just be like anything you want to do. So like if you're like, I want to like send the Mage Hand out to do something, you just go like this, and it's just Mage Hand.
Okay, so I would be like... I would have to like mime it on one level.
You'd be you'd be... So... with how you've used it previously, you've just been able to kind of use it for free. And that's kind of fine. You have free action to move your hands. You're not restricted in any way. So you're good. You can flavor it how you want. Where it's like, I want the Mage Hand to grab, and so you mime yourself grabbing something.
But I don't have everything that's in my equipment and like inventory and stuff.
They didn't strip us down. They didn't search us, as far as I'm aware. The other thought was I'm going to bust out Dawnbringer and just lightsaber through the door, but that's probably a last resort.
You guys have your stuff. Nothing was necessarily taken away from you or taken off of you, so like that includes weapons. So you guys have not been searched. So you guys have whatever packs you may have had on you. You have in this cell. Do with that information what you want. Additionally, maybe perhaps question, if you weren't taken from those things, why?
Okay, I'm gonna go put my chicken nuggets in the oven, and I'll be right back. And
okay, I'll pause.
Yeah.
So Gruk, you were asking what's in these rooms. These are essentially barren rooms. Nothing really exists in here. These are just like empty little holes in the wall.
Not even a bucket.
Not even a bucket. You don't get a poop bucket.
I like the little smaller group dynamic where it's
a little bit more personable.
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily. I was gonna say it's more chill, but it's not. It's just. I don't feel the mild stress of trying to herd all the cats together.
Well, right now there are only 2 cats that I have to be worrying about, and right now it's you. And I unfortunately can't give you too much else without action from the characters. I understand you guys can't do much without direction from me, but we're at a bit of a standstill of like what you guys want to be able to do, either talk amongst yourselves, or there's a rather obvious action that I feel that you guys can do that you guys haven't taken yet.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm just sitting here bullshitting. I'm not actually like stopping what I'm doing because I don't know. Like I'm just.
Fair
Is
enough.
it just to escape?
No.
I'm just playing out all. No, I'm just playing out all the tangents. All right, Gruk, what do you suggest? What do you think we should do?
Well, Caleb just said there's an obvious action that we should.
Ignore what I just said. This is just the DM just talking.
I feel like there is a.
Tom asked you a direct question, Grux. Just talk to Tom.
Yeah, I feel like there is a relatively straightforward thing with the information that we've been given. That would be the first thing I would do. I don't know how successful it would be, but I'm curious. What do you suggest?
See, I'm not good with these thinking type of situations. I only just kind of do.
Okay.
Without really thinking of the repercussions. Unless there's an obvious, like, consequence.
I mean, same. But no, I'm not asking to like put you on the spot. I'm just genuinely curious, like what would your reaction or whatever be, and like what would be the order of events, order of operations that you would do if you were here?
I mean, we could just wait.
That is an option.
And then we could escape or attempt to escape, which I don't know how good that would really do us.
Sure. I guess I'm asking not from an overall standpoint, like what would we do in this room? Like
wait. That's really
okay. I'm not trying to like put you on the spot or anything. I'm just genuinely trying to.
No, if you guys want to wait, you can absolutely.
I don't want to wait.
Okay.
But that's.
I mean, that's just how it would end. It'd be like, okay, you guys just get the next thing that happens if you choose to wait.
I mean, I have a dice set that I could, entertain myself with.
It's true. You have a dice set in real life that you could use to do some checks on stuff.
I have about 30 plus. Yeah.
That's fair. Okay, I want to do insight to see if I can break through whatever illusion magic's going on.
It'd be Arcana.
I don't know if that would be insight, but or Arcana. Yeah, how about we start with Arcana? let's do
okay,
Arcana
so Arcana is trying to like determine if you can do anything. So you can go ahead and roll that, sure.
I rolled a 12.
12. You feel that if it were that easy, someone would have already done it.
Fair enough. I want to. I can see the torch. Can I? I can see the torch at least outside of Gruk's, not mine, right?
Yeah, and Gruk, this is not to like belittle anything you want to. If Gruk truly just wants, is that's just how Gruk is. That's just how Gruk is. I just want to make sure that you're comfortable with that. I don't want you to sit there going just like, well, whatever. It's just like I just want you to know your actions are your actions.
It wouldn't be in Gruk's character to really try to think of a clever way to really do anything here.
Okay.
He would just think about, escaping. That's how I can get out.
Okay.
Or
so then at this time, Gruk, you are you standing in front of your door just looking at Tom just bouncing around, thinking of things, doing, trying stuff?
Yeah, I'm just looking at him, waiting for him to do the next thing.
I just want to make sure your character has some kind of direction. That way, it's not just Gruk is invisible now.
I want to ping him a message. So I have an idea. Well, kind of. I get the impression that there's like other entities in this cell, at least with me. Probably the same with you. I don't necessarily want to stumble my way around with people that have dark vision that are stronger than I am. If you feel so inclined, I would probably check the general room that you're in to see if you can run into somebody or hear anything for them trying to move around you or something. I don't know.
Let me really quick state the detect magic that you had found was not inside your cell.
Oh, okay.
Okay, sorry. I
thought that
did
there were
not
other
classify
entities.
that. No, I did not
thought that there were
classify
other-
that. You just
The way he explained that, I was like, yeah, that's actually pretty logical.
no, sorry. It's outside of your cell. You can tell that there are other illusion entities that exist out there, but you do not see anything.
Okay, I thought that I sensed illusion magic being cast on physical entities that are inside the cell with me.
No, nothing inside your cell. It is empty as anything is barren as a desert could be. Everything is outside of your
How
cell.
tall is the ceiling? Is it like?
Gruk, you're probably about to hit your head.
Okay.
Okay. So I want to do investigation on the torch. Well, okay. How about this? I want to find out if I can find out what the effects of the torch are, or if there's anything different about it other than what we already know.
It would be another Arcana roll, seeing if you can make sense of anything within Tom's reason.
All right, I got a nat 20.
So just real quick, within Tom's reason.
Right.
So within Tom's understanding of how some magical candles might work, he's typically had them likely involved with more sensual matters, more sensual candles.
Sure.
So he has a feeling that these are probably like candles that elicit their own emotions as a kind of like an aura.
Okay.
Gruk, you look a little confused. Candles more for like a kind of sultry kind of a night.
Or like incense. Like if I was a bard and I were performing somewhere, I'd probably strategically place incense to get people into like either a hype mood or like a chilled, relaxed, vibe mood before I do that.
So these are like illusionary candles that are like supposed to try and like help the aura of the area. And as Gardecar had stated, and you find this to be truthful, is that these kind of candles elicit a kind of more relaxed nature. As he was saying, he doesn't want anyone thinking themselves to death.
Are they metal?
Are the candles metal?
Yeah.
No.
So they're just normal torches in a bracket, but they have to be blue.
Wax candle.
Wax candle. Okay.
Metal for like holding the candle up, kind of like what shows in here.
Okay.
I guess you can tell that additionally there'd be like wax droppings on the floor underneath where the candles are at.
Okay. Wondering if there's a way to break through this illusion, or if there's not.
Can we just like smother whatever illusion flame that there is?
I'm thinking about that, but I'm also wondering if we sensed illusion entities outside the cell. I bet you there's guards around, and I bet you there's like invisible dwarf guards around. And if they see a big old, one of two things can happen: either they see a big hand come out and then go, "All right, we're gonna go fuck this guy up," or we succeed in snuffing him out, and then there's two cells that conspicuously don't have the torches on outside of them. Fuck, I don't have a torch.
I'll help you guys out. Due to the amount of thinking you guys have been in here, you guys don't exactly know how much time you may have been spent thinking about some things, but you do hear that there's like a very soft like sniffling coming down the halls from maybe one of the other cells.
Hey.
Thank you. Hold on, let me pause. And we're back. So you guys hear like a very soft whimpering, kind of like hushed sounds coming from another cell, probably further down the line, or perhaps closer up the line than you had originally thought. The cells on the outside, they're not terribly far apart from in regards to like the cell doors. So they're within nothing is within arm's reach from the cell door, regarding like another cell by cell. But it's decently far away, but you can easily hear if someone's trying to make another outside call or sounds from inside of a cell and when they're not trying to be quiet.
Hey, can you hear me over there?
You hear like some shuffling occur in one of the cells. To you, it sounds like to your left. Gruk, to you, it sounds like to your right. You hear some shuffling of a cell, and then you kind of... Jesus Christ.
Was that really loud?
Yeah.
I was specifically moving the microphone so that it wouldn't brush
the
up
moment
against
you
it.
did that, it went, and I was like, okay.
Oh, okay, nice. And then everybody got to watch me open my mouth as I was wiping
Yep.
my mouth. Nice. Don't ever grow a mustache, because then everything you ever drink or eat, you then have to use a fucking napkin for.
It's just something else for later.
Oh God, this is the flavor saver, right? That was like when I got my wisdom teeth out, and I can't take steroids because I'm a diabetic. So there were giant holes in my mouth, and they were like, "Oh, you can take the little pipette thing, and you have to wash it out, or it's going to heal over and be a giant infection." And I'm like, "No, it's just pockets of food for later, right?"
But you hear some shuffling, but then you kind of just hear it kind of go quiet, like the sound doesn't appear to do anything afterwards.
What are the limits of this message?
I believe you have to see them.
You point your finger towards a creature within range and whisper a message.
So without like seeing them, you don't know where.
I can't just systematically point at various points along the wall.
Just it's eventually hit, just starts bouncing around.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, no, tell you what, go ahead and try and point your finger up. And go ahead and point anywhere that you want.
You said it's to my left, right?
Yeah.
There. And it can...
How far can Tom extend his arm out to even get his wrist to turn?
So it says, well, our hands are free, right? Relatively. I'm pointing towards the wall, hoping to hit alongside wherever the person is. And it says this 120 feet, the spell doesn't have to follow a straight line. It can travel freely around corners or through openings.
Oh.
Yeah. So that's my idea of just like, if
Say
I know
that again,
someone's over
what it
there, I
can
can
do?
just like, what?
Say it again, what it can do? I just want to make sure that I'm understanding and probably just need to pull it up to read it.
Casting time, 1 action, 120 feet. Vocal, semantic material, but we're not worrying about that. Duration is 1 round. You point your finger towards a creature within range and whisper a message. The target and only the target hears the message and can reply in a whisper that only you can hear. You can cast the spell through solid objects. Oh, okay. You can cast the spell through if you're familiar with the target. Okay. I didn't read that part. Yeah. Familiar beyond
1 foot of stone.
But it doesn't have to theoretically go through the stone. It can go around. It can snake its way around. But
Yeah, but
I'm
you have
not
to be
familiar with the target, so I don't know who it is.
Nope. You can maybe ask a question to it.
Hey, are you okay over there?
That shuffling sound that you heard from before, you kind of hear a very frail, very kind of broken female voice kind of talk out, and it's just a little raspy. It's a little harder for you to hear, but you hear something go just like,
Can you talk?
I can.
Can you speak?
I'm rather parched. Where are you?
I'm in one of the other cells.
Are you another one of the dwarves?
I'm not a dwarf. I'm in one of the other cells. Who are you?
Adalia. I don't know.
Adalia.
Adalia.
What? Sorry?
Adalia.
Adalia. As in, that's the name or the type of person? I'm asking you, Caleb. Like, what is she saying?
That she's just saying her name.
What is her name?
Adalia.
Like Adalia? Adalia?
Adelai. Adelia. I'm saying her name is Adelia.
Okay, I didn't know if that was like a species or a group or a. I didn't know what a
Yeah.
space Dahlia was.
Well, I mean, I said she's saying her name, Adelia.
Yeah.
Not. I'm saying my race, Adelia.
That's right.
You know, I get to be the hard ass now.
Hey, if you ever wanted to know what it was like to discuss work things with an engineer, you're welcome. Your name's Dahlia. My name is Tom. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. You're rather friendly for being in here with the rest of us.
I mean, I can either be friendly or not be friendly. I might as well be friendly towards people that don't wish me ill will, unless you do.
He likes to talk a lot.
And who are you?
I'm Gruk. I'm with Tom.
You're in the cells together?
No, across from each other, but before being brought here, we associated each other.
We're in a domestic adventuring party together.
Yeah.
What crimes did you commit to be down here?
We didn't actually commit any. We just got mistaken for people that did.
Mistaken identity.
Didn't commit any crimes. It's not the first time I've heard that from being down here. Many come and many have gone.
Alright, so what did you do, Adelia?
Well, they said that I had something to do with poisoning the well. But I don't even know I've not even seen a well down here. It's been a couple years though since I've been down here, so I'm not sure if things have changed.
So you're saying you didn't commit the crime?
Yeah.
Sounds like we're in this together.
Yeah.
I'm not being associated with what crimes did you get committed of?
You know, a number of things. It's breaking and entering,
Burning a shop.
Her voice
burning down a shop.
her voice changes very dramatically at the thought or at the sound of breaking and entering and burning in a shop. And you all can very tell that it was kind of like a act of some kind that was being put on.
She was faking it.
That's what we're accused of. Didn't say we did it.
Well, I mean, it's the same way that I was accused of burning down a well. But breaking and entering, though, can you all see my lock?
Can we get our heads far enough before?
I'm gonna say for Gruk, no. You can probably not stick your head through that. Tom probably can, being rather small.
I have a thought, but
Okay.
I'm going to put a pin in it for the moment. Actually, I have two thoughts. I guess stick my head out and say...
Only two?
well, I have more. Only two that are relevant.
Okay.
Yeah, I can see your lock. Why?
Well, if you're of the breaking and entering kind, I'm assuming you guys have some kind of ways to kind of break your way through some things. If you don't mind, would you be able to kind of give me an idea about what my lock might look like?
Your name wouldn't happen to be Ilsa, would it?
I'm afraid I don't know that name.
Okay. I don't know. What does your lock look like?
You'd have to peek your head out to try and take a look.
What does your lock look like?
So you poke your head out?
Mhm.
At you poking your head out.
You immediately get thwacked.
No. Poking your head out and looking down the hallway, you immediately see that there's kind of this shimmer, and then a figure is in the middle of the hallway. And this figure is a rather shapely dwarf, rather sensual in nature. Among seeing her, I need you guys to, I believe you have to do a roll. Hold on one quick second. Make sure that I'm aware of which roll it is. I'm pretty sure I'm aware of what it is. Yes.
I'm the only one seeing him.
Okay,
Right?
so you're the only
finish
one.
that out.
Can you do a charisma? A wisdom saving throw.
Fuck. No. Can I do a charisma saving throw?
No, you can do a wisdom saving throw.
I had a 12.
12. Okay. Tom, immediately after looking out at this, you see this rather savory gray dwarf. She is clad in an adventurer's outfit, and she appears to be kind of holding herself with her hourglass figure up against and resting against the stone wall as you poke your head out. And you feel that yourself is rather infatuated with this character.
Fuck.
So
Gruk, there's a hot girl outside. Gruk, there's a girl. This hasn't happened ever. Oh my god, Gruk, there's a girl outside. We need to talk to her. I need you to kick down the door.
The moment you continue blabbering, you feel that her next words kind of echo in your mind as she tells you to hush. And you must obey.
Because you're such a good little boy, aren't you?
Dude, I'm mommy's good boy.
You are silenced, so you feel that you cannot make any words right now after her calling out to you as hush, and you feel that this word echoes inside of your head and lasts really long at the very end of that shh kind of a sound.
Is it how would you describe the sounds that are made by a guy in very old Looney Tunes cartoons that sees a hot girl and then his tongue rolls out a red carpet and his eyes expand and he awoogas and turns into a wolf and howls and stuff like that?
And his heart starts beating out of his chest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that one.
So those would be, are you saying what sound is that? It's an automatopoeia.
Okay. Can I make those sounds?
You can make them inside your head.
Damn it. All right.
You don't have thaumaturgy.
Yeah, you're right. That's what I'm going to use thaumaturgy for, is to act like, yeah.
So again, that goes through your head. So you do get like some of those final words out to Gruk, letting him know that someone is outside of your cell. You see that this person is going to slowly start making like a very sultry walk, her hips kind of swinging back and forth. You see that the kind of cloths betwixt her legs is kind of swishing back and forth as well as she starts making her way towards you. And she kind of has this rather glowing look in her eye that there's a shimmer. Something about her seems rather magical, rather suffocating. And that you can't take your eyes off of her. Like your eyes are locked with hers. As she's looking into your eyes, she looks at you and says, "What were you saying again, darling?"
Hang on, I'm writing. I should play a bard that's like asexual. And then anytime people try and get me to go like seduce somebody, I can just be like, yeah, but I could also like
Maybe
read book. Yeah, what does it matter?
Mm-hmm.
Hang on, I'm still writing.
No worries. Gruk, from your side of things, you just see the kind of you see the back of this character start walking towards Tom's cell and standing in front of it. So she's standing between you and Tom's cell doors. From the back, you can see that she's got rather long, wispy, white silver hair that kind of goes down into boxed braids. So that long wispy going into boxed braids is kind of confusing. From the back, you can see that she's got a nice figure going on. She has a rather hourglass figure with a hand on her hip, and she's holding on to something on her hip. You can't really tell what's there. Could you roll an investigation for me?
Okay. Before I do this, I'm going to do one of my maneuvers called tactical assessment. When you make an intelligence, investigation, history, or a wisdom insight check, you can expend one superiority die and add the superiority die to the ability check.
Okay.
So, I'm going to do that.
Okay, tactical assessment. You're going to give her an ocular pat down.
Yeah.
Assess if she's a threat. See, if I had sick-ass glasses that obscured my peripherals, I could tell whether I wouldn't be able to see her.
It could have been better, but oh well. 10.
Okay. With her hand on her hip, you can tell that she's like drumming her fingers against something on her hip, but you don't see anything past it as the hair is kind of distracting you from what you're seeing. There's something about her that's like this aura of capturing that you can't fully make out. Do I need to... I'll pause for...
No, we're good.
Okay. Never mind, he's back.
What's your name, dwarf?
She is not responding to you. She's looking at Tom and is asking for Tom to go ahead and continue talking. You don't have to be quiet around me, baby. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, you're just so beautiful. You're so amazing. I don't remember what you asked me. Gruk, have you seen this girl? Oh my God, she's so hot. So we're going to get married. We're going to have like 14 weird half-formed dwarf and halfling babies. And they're going to come out with like, they're going to be short, but not really short. They're going to be short-ish. So for like maybe 2 months in like middle school, especially the girls, because girls go through puberty first, right? So for like 2 months in like middle school, they're going to be taller than all the rest of the boys. But then eventually, not only are they going to be shorter than... No, but I can't. But she told me to talk, so I'm talking.
She
and she's so pretty.
Slams and basically batters your iron door, and you can tell that her kind of demeanor has changed from that of one of charm to a rather bit of anger as she's looking at you. But you can't feel yourself to stop as the waterfall of words coming out of your mouth, and she slams against it and she says, "Stop!" And you hear that echo inside of your head as well. You freeze. I'll ask you again, darling. Please continue telling me about the crimes that you had committed.
So it depends. There's been a lot of crimes. So really, it depends on who you ask. It was a crime when I was born. Like both my parents didn't show up to my birth. I was told that
of Gracklestug that you had committed. You had told me that you have been specialized in breaking and entering.
We have been accused.
That's what we've been accused of breaking and entering. I wouldn't say that I've been specialized in breaking and entering. I mean, if you want me to be specialized in breaking and entering, I can figure it out. I have, there's some people that I know that I've run across before that are better at it than I am. So
Enough.
I'd probably be able to.
Your incessant babbling is that too much. She turns on her heel and then looks at you, Gruk, and your eyes lock with hers. Seeing her, you feel that there's like this aura of enchantment around her, but you feel that there's something that's stopping. That something about you is not connecting with her. Her eyes kind of have a shimmer, and you notice that the change from this kind of like golden shimmer to a bluish shimmer to that of eyes of Kurgs. And she looks at you deeply, and she says to you, she goes, "Maybe you can be a little bit more useful to me. Maybe, darling."
Am I still charged?
You have been told enough and to stop. So you feel that you are not able to control your own body. You are frozen.
Okay. I didn't know if she can only do it to one person at a time or if there was more.
I can't say anything right now, but only you feel this way.
Okay.
You can roll insight to maybe think to yourself. Otherwise, you yourself can't do anything physically or open your mouth.
All right, I'm going to roll a metal die.
Metal die. To Tom, to Gruk, she still says to you, "Maybe you can help me, darling?"
I got a 19 on insight.
19 on insight. You know that there is something about this creature that has charmed you. You are infatuated with this character. That things that this thing may say, you have an compelling nature to follow that. Like you don't feel that you can pull yourself away from that. You are compelled to listen to what they say. But to Gruk, she says this to you, but you don't necessarily feel any kind of way. You just notice that her eyes change to that of like Kurgs.
I hope you realize you are not what I want, and you are but a simple prison guard guarding prisoners, and I am one of your prisoners. What am I of use to you?
Who said anything about guarding anyone down here? I'm really just trying to ask questions. It seems that both of you had seemed rather lost down here. Your friend seems to be rather talkative.
He's
but I don't
always
think
like
I can
that.
get the information that I want.
What information would be of use to you?
Well, your friend's talking about the crimes and such that happened here. I'm wondering what you might have to say about that. If there's anything more tantalizing, perhaps something that might be willing to let you go for.
You must be one of the lairds, aren't you?
With your response, she kind of braces herself up against your door and she wraps her hands around both the poles and is just looking at you, pressing herself against there, just looking at you, just begging to have information. I'm afraid I don't know what you mean about these lairds. Can you tell me more about what you're talking about? Tom, you see her like kick her leg up behind, so she's got like one leg lifted up off the ground.
Man, there's nothing I love more than a woman in very utilitarian military clothing that has no attractive appeal to it.
Yeah, but you're charmed, so...
Yeah. Nothing more I want to fuck than Braveheart.
Yeah, no kidding. So this creature is trying to try and seduce you through the bars.
Your lustrous body has no effect on me.
Oh, you find me lustrous, do you? She steps back and then begins to like show bring her hands down her silhouette, and she turns back on her heel and kicks dirt essentially back, or kick rocks back towards your cell as she finds that you're going to be of no use to her. She turns back to Tom. She goes, well, if he's going to be no use, I guess we'll have to do with you, won't I? Now, I ask again, if he's talking about all these lairds, what do you know about these lairds?
I don't know nothing about any lairds. I know that lairds kind of rhymes with bard, and I mean, bards are kind of cool. I like bards. Have you ever met a bard? So bards, there's also a lot of layers of like wildlife and stuff. Like if we go into the layer of like a wolf, like I don't know, you gotta want to be careful around a lot of them because they just kind of, you know, well, I don't know. What do you want to know about lairds? Because I can probably figure it out for you.
You see there's like a bit of frustration that starts crossing her face, and she's kind of like balling up her fist as she's not getting what she thinks that she wants. And she looks at you and is just, all right, we're going to do this hard way then. You are going to tell me everything that you had told to that guard Kardakar. Do you understand me? Say yes.
Yes.
Now.
Do I hear this?
Yes, you do hear this.
And why should we?
She kind of like looks back over her shoulder and stares daggers at you and says, I have no business with you, orc. I'm speaking to the handsome one, aren't I?
You certainly want our information, so you certainly do have business with us.
She again turns back to you, leaving Tom to herself, and she punches at your kind of she punches at your iron door, and she's kind of got this like look of fury across her face. She's like, I am trying to be really nice to you guys right now, and frankly, you're making it rather hard. Do you understand? Nod yes if you understand. You simple little child.
Yes, I understand.
Enough!
I understand.
Fucking Christ, Tom.
Tom?
This is fun.
Tom and Gruk? Wonderful names. Really appreciative of it. Say, the more you all can talk amongst yourselves, the more that I can get, the more information I can give back to the king. For I don't want you guys messing anything up around here, for I've rather got something nice and cozy set aside, and rather, with you all coming into our town and messing things up, that kind of puts a real damper on things for me here, doesn't it? And she smiles at the both of you, and you see that there's kind of a unique thing amongst her teeth. Her incisors are pointed. Very different from
you
the
have,
other...
Grandma.
Shut the fuck up. Very different than what you would see traditionally amongst gray dwarves with their mouths.
I wonder what that means.
Don't know.
It's like fucking Asterion in Baldur's Gate 3, where I met him, and I'm like, within the first frame of me seeing him, I'm like, okay, I know what he is.
Oh, yeah.
And then it was supposed to be this like big reveal, and I'm like, bro, I figured that out like 30 hours ago.
Oh, dude, it's so easy because the moment you get near water and he starts getting pain, it's like, oh, okay.
Oh, I didn't even see that. I took one fucking look at him. I was like,
well, that too, yeah. No, okay, spoilers for Baldur's Gate 3, the video game. If you meet a guy named Asterion, don't take him near water.
Oh, apparently. I didn't even do that. But like, Narwhal, unless you care, like, he's got fucking pale skin and long teeth and red eyes. I'm like, I've watched and read Twilight. Like, I got it.
Yeah.
Wasn't hard.
So this creature here is still rather irritated and is kind of almost on the verge of breaking some things from kind of her concentration, it seems. When she slams amongst
I don't understand. Can you give a bigger hint?
No, I can only give so much. So you see that kind of happen, and so she's trying to ask for this information, and so she's rather fed up with things that are happening from Gruk, and she kind of flicks her wrist at you, kind of like brushing you off, as she again turns on her heel and is now focused entirely on Tom. She goes up to your door, Tom, and again she presses herself. She kind of presses her chest against the door, and you can kind of see that there's one of the bars that goes between her bosom as she's kind of like pressing herself, and she's like, "Don't you really want to help me? Don't you?"
Of course I want to help you. I want to help you with anything I can. What do you need from me?
I need you to tell me everything you told Gardevoir today.
Oh. Today? Okay. So Gardevoir came in and he was in the room, and then he got so there's a big room. So the guards brought us in, and there was a big room, and we were brought in by Eard, and then Gardevoir showed up, and then Gardevoir and Eard had a conversation.
Oh, Eard's so lovely, isn't she, darling?
If you think she is, yes. So Eard,
I think that you think what I think, and you kind of hear that echo inside your head. That
I don't have enough brain cells to capture that. So I came in and I said hi. I said hi to Gardevoir, and then he looked kind of nervous. I don't know. You like Gardevoir, right? Like, I just want to make sure like that I didn't upset him or anything, because Yurt looks kind of upset too, and I know you like Yurt. So,
oh, honey, Gardevoir's just fine. Don't worry about anything with him. I just need to know what was said to him.
Okay. Well, I said I think
your friend's not going to try and snitch on us, is he?
Well, no, of course he wouldn't. Gruk, you're not going to try and snitch on him, are you? Grug, so she's concerned that you were going to snitch on us, and we can't have that. Like, look at how hot she is. This is my one and only shot. Don't fuck this up for me, man. I'm going to peak in high school and my junior year of high school, and then constantly talk about how that one throw, if they had put me in, dude, I would have got us to state, but they didn't, because I kind of fucked my arm up. I tore my ACL a little bit in my thumb, and then, like... Hey, Greg, how far do you want me to go? You're not going to snitch on her, are you?
You betted with a Quaggoth, and you're telling me you're lowering your standards to this?
Oh?
How dare you say something against her? This is the hottest, completely clothed woman that looks like a racist Mel Gibson guy that I have ever seen in my entire life. And also, I didn't bet Quaggoth. I put her to bed. Bird was cool. Like, I put Bird to sleep because she was drunk. But you're not going to snitch on.
Is there something wrong with how I look right now? Am I not what you want?
You're what I want.
Is there?
I'll do.
There feels like there's something happening between you two that... I'm sorry, I'm feeling that there's a love interest. I'm not... Tom?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not feeling this from you.
You're not feeling what from me? What do you want me to feel?
You see that her like demeanor immediately like drops all interest in you, and she turns back around, and then she goes back up to Gruk's door, and she looks you in the eye, and she goes, "There's something here, isn't there? He said a name. You're interested in someone here, aren't you?" I can feel it. I can taste it.
I'm interested in you. Gruk's lame. You shouldn't talk to him. He should come.
At that, you guys see the most disturbing transformation of this creature as she slowly starts to grow in height. Her skin starts to change from the kind of ashen gray to a more lighter green. And with her height, you see that even her clothes begin to change. That around her starts to morph as well. And she's no longer this gray dwarf in front of you as you see Kurg appear.
Hmm.
She presses up against the bar and she looks at you, Gruk, and she goes, "Is this what you wanted?"
No, because you are not the true person that you are trying to be.
Oh, it doesn't matter if anything's the true thing in here. Do you understand exactly where you are? I need to make sure that I am secure here. And I need you to really work with me right now. And frankly, the more you are irritating me, the less I'm going to be getting from you. And the less I'm going to be getting from you, the more I need to make sure that you die. Her voice is kind of warping out from this kind of sultry kind of a sound, or rather honey-like voice, into something that of raspy. And you can feel that there's more to this sound, something like hellfire, something of brimstone. And the voice.
Do you ever like go outside and like talk to people, or do you just stay in here?
Do you
Just
ever
tell
go
her to touch grass.
Do I ever go outside, or do I just stay here? Oh, I'm sorry. For someone with such a simple-minded mind, you don't exactly fall for things so easily. Must be willingness. It must be nice walking through life, not having to worry about anything, not having to worry about exactly what you're going to be dealing with. Just having this simple, free life.
I know my desires do not lie with you.
Your desires aren't going to match with anybody the moment that you die. I will see to it the king will have you beheaded. You will be thrown out of here. You will be thrown into those lava pits. I will not see you live.
You're giving favors to the king.
No.
And that's how you're getting what you want
Nothing.
around here. Okay.
No. Your simple mind. No, stop.
Well, that's what you said. You said you would see to it that the king beheads me. Why else would the king behead me besides you whoring around?
Tom, darling, he's rather hurting my feelings.
How dare you? Gruk, don't hurt her feelings. Do you not see how pretty she is? I don't care that she's an 8-foot-tall, fucked-up, spiky red devil woman. I would totally smash that devussy and get blisters all over my shit and then have to get it all figured out later. That she's worth it. Do you see how hot she is? Literally, she literally is the hottest girl I've ever seen.
Don't you understand?
I don't understand how you can even see anything else.
Tom understands, and he doesn't recall seeing me as anything other than this.
Wait, I thought you said she turned into she turned red and whatever. Did I make that up?
You made that up based on me making that voice. All I said was that she went from the Grey Dwarf to Kurg.
Oh, I heard Hellfire, and I think I just spun off from there.
Yeah, exactly. No, you're in your mind, you're spot on, but otherwise, as Tom, you have zero idea. You just hear that her voice is kind of like fluctuating between this like smooth as honey voice, rather sultry, rather whimsical, rather enticing, and then you eventually hear some kind of like breakages out of it the more she gets irritated by Gruk, and you hear this kind of like raspy, burning kind of a voice, and you're just like, that's not very pretty, but you were still charmed.
Gruk, how dare you say she's not attractive? Look at her. She's Kurg. She's everything you ever wanted. Except sometimes she talks a little bit and then her voice gets crackedy and made up. She screams death metal as her fucking side band project. How could you not think that's awesome? Look at her. She's so cool.
Tom, I need you to tell me something.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you saw Kurg down here, was she in one of these cells with you? Say yes.
Yes.
And that's all you recall, right? You remember seeing Kurg down here in one of the cells?
I remember seeing you. I remember seeing you as Kurg. If you get into one of these cells, come into my cell. Then I'll see you in one of the cells.
You
then I can tell them
don't remember anything else besides hearing of Kurg in one of these cells. Do you understand?
Yes.
Great.
Can I roll insight for that?
Sure.
Can you throw a rock at her to fucking knock her concentration out?
You can roll.
Use
You can roll
any of the
insight
things
against
in
that.
your equipment to fuck with her physically to stop her from charming me?
No, I just want to keep fucking with her.
Okay.
You can absolutely roll insight. I mean, even without rolling insight, you know that she is lying, but she's telling this to Tom.
Well, how about... Well, Tom's charmed right now.
Well, that's an hour because I just checked because I have that spell.
It's not an hour.
Oh, is it not?
Not for this creature.
Is it forever?
It
Hell yeah.
is. I can't tell you.
I'm gonna get married, bro. I'm gonna marry a weird devil woman, and then every boomer ever is gonna be like, "That's every marriage." Ha ha ha! It's funny because I hate my wife and my life, and I just drink to make myself okay with it.
Here. How about this? Kurg, I'm sorry. Come here. I really miss you. I was just in such denial and in a really negative mental space. Just
Go
come
ahead
here. I
and
really
roll
do miss you.
deception. Roll deception or performance. Which one are you wanting to do?
I'll do. Guess I'll do deception.
Get it too.
Yep. I got a whole 2.
Cool. She got
Imagine Gruk just being like, yeah, like, yeah, you're so hot, Kurg. Fuck, I need this armor.
Just unzips pants.
But she's,
yeah, and then he's like, well, why would I do that?
But she's trying to essentially plant these thoughts into Tom's mind, and in his current charmed mind and his charmed state, this is what is the truth. The gospel truth is what she is telling him. So, as far as you're concerned, Kurg was in one of these cells, and you had conversed with her, and she was asking about things going on. She lastly is talking to you and leaves an imprint of anything other than Kurg you do not remember.
Okay.
She is kind of done with this conversation as she turns back to Gruk and looks you in the eye, Gruk, and just kind of has this like seething hatred. And you can see that past her eyes, into her pupils, that there's a brightly lit fire, and it is not calming.
Is she in arm's reach?
No.
Damn.
We're in a rock cavern, though.
You're in a
Bet your
rock
rocks
cavern.
is within arm reach.
Yeah, that's true, but I was wanting to like grab her grab her like shirt and then just climb her up against
Oh, absolutely. That would be really neat if you just like fucking bash your face into the bars.
Right now, she's over by Tom's cell door, not by Gruk's.
Yeah.
Cell doors were not within arm's reach of each other.
Also, we didn't get a chance to do it unless we do get a chance, but I totally have tiny mushrooms and was going to eat one and slip through the bars and then unlock cell.
Entirely up to you. Right now, you were charmed.
Yep. I can't do nothing.
Nope. So she's kind of just staring at you, Gruk, and she's got this like hellfire in her eyes, and she is more than irritated as she leaves one of these final remarks to you and says, "I will see it to you that I will be the one to throw you in that fire." Turns back to Tom and says,
"Me up first."
Turns back to Tom and says, "I love you.
I love you too. When are we getting married?
You love Kurg.
You are Kurg, therefore I love you, Kurg."
Glad you understand. All right, I must be going." And at that, she starts to make her way down the hall.
Succubus.
Wait, come back. But like, why? We can talk some more.
"No, my darling." As she calls back the hall, she goes, "Remember, don't go anywhere."
Fuck.
Succubus.
And you don't hear any more footsteps as she's gone from sight.
Does spells that affect people's mind, if you give them blunt force trauma, does that stop them from having spells affect their minds.
I can say that for this, if the target suffers any harm or receives a suicidal command, you can repeat the saving throw.
Okay.
But if you fail the saving throw, it stays.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
No, I just didn't know if, like, if you had, like, you know, illusion magic on somebody and I don't know in what situation it would work, but if they were, like, confused, if you added real confusion to fake confusion by bashing their head in, would that then break the confusion spell?
No idea. But what she said to you so even though she has left, you still remain charmed underneath her spell. So what she had said to you during this time is considered your memory. It is law. If she had said anything to contradict anything you may have had previous.
I didn't realize that there was you can add conditions to yourself on the D&D Beyond thing.
Oh, for like charmed and stuff?
Yeah. Well, so
How do you
not that it matters, but I'm reading the charmed thing. A charmed creature can't attack the charmer or target the charmer with harmful abilities or magical effects. Charmer has advantage on any ability checks to interact socially with them. But I don't care. This is kind of neat. This is interesting.
I didn't know you could do that either. Awesome. That's actually nice to know.
Yes, Caleb has short hair now.
What? No, I don't. I can pause again for a minute if that is what's going on. Here, I'll pause. All right, and we're back.
Gruk, did you see how hot that girl was? Oh my god. So
I mean, technically you are still charmed.
true. What'd you say?
What'd you say, Narwhal?
What'd you say?
Oh, I said you are infatuated with a succubus.
I mean,
Tom, you do not know that. You only know her as Kurg.
right, I didn't see a succubus. I saw a Kirk. She can suck my bus all day long. So if you, I mean, I don't know what you mean by a succubus, but I mean, don't you like Kirk? I thought we were together in the fact that Kirk was attractive. Like, I mean, if you try to take it from me, I'll fucking kill you. But other than that, like, you know. Also, how'd you get here? All I remember is Kirk was in a cell.
Grug?
You do realize that what you saw was someone changing into Kurg.
Not what I saw. I saw was my future wife. My future wife can change into different things? How fucking cool is that?
Kurg is nowhere near this place.
What do you mean? We just saw her. I don't know how you got here. All I know is that Kurg was in a cell here. She showed up. I'm here. Kurg was here. Now you're here. Are you Kurg?
Can batter your head through a brick to get you to understand something?
I don't know if that's the answer. Maybe you're lying. Maybe you're Kurg. Maybe you're a succubus and you're trying to charm me right now.
Hold on, real quick, gotta pause. Sorry about that. Had a question about one of the character sheets. Continue.
Caleb doesn't know how to read.
Yeah, put on some fucking glasses, you blind ass bitch.
All right. You know
Yeah,
what? We don't have to have
glasses,
any of
you
this
blind
kind
ass
of
bitch.
stuff.
Caleb can't
Okay.
read.
All right.
Does it work? Turn on. Fuck.
No, it doesn't.
There we go.
Now
Caleb
you look
can't read.
silly.
He doesn't look silly. He looks way cooler than you with your non-anime glasses wearing ass.
Fuck you. Now I got my glasses.
Yeah,
How
make
about
the light go through him though, so that the whole thing goes whatever.
Yeah, but do you have a fucking light?
Okay, Tom, you are infatuated with what you believe to be his Kurg.
Yep.
Gruk, you are getting increasingly more irritated that your friend is not believing in you and is talking about your acquaintance, interest, unbeknownst to everyone but you, what Kurg is to you.
Sometimes I don't even know what she is to me.
But he's talking about her in ways that you probably don't like.
I know what she is to me. She's my future wife. So if you don't know what she is to you, move aside.
I'm gonna throw a caltrop in your eye.
How the fuck you gonna have a caltrop and throw it at me and not the stupid ass succubus that was sitting here enchanting us for half an hour?
Y'all don't know as a succubus. Y'all don't know.
I'm just guessing it was a succubus because a succubus in Gruk's mind would be a piece of flesh whoring itself out to whatever.
Like a
to
fucking
then
steak.
charm it.
Like you're grilling a steak, and it's just like, hey, baby, like I want you to eat me. I'm into vor. I'm a steak.
What a wild comment. And, okay, so you guys are having like your bickering is back and forth, and you hear that there's some footsteps that are occurring further down the hall. What appears to be a count of multiple different footsteps coming slowly down this hallway from the direction that you guys had originally come from, and everything goes quiet between you two as you hear these footsteps go down. You don't hear any talkings betwixt anything else, just the sound of footsteps coming down, just coming down the way, the of the sound of that kind of clacking along.
Sounds like they're coming to get us.
As you make that comment, you hear that there are other iron doors that open up amongst themselves further down the hall from which you had came previous. And there are loud thuds of things that happen to occur. You hear 1, 2, 3, 4 thuds. And again, you hear nothing else outside of that, and you hear the doors start to close themselves. You can think amongst yourselves, but Gruk, do you want to say hello?
Hello?
And we will end there. And
It actually ended.